Hi everybody, and welcome again to SDVoE Presents Face-to-Face AV with Justin Kennington. That's me, your host, Justin Kennington. I'm joined today by an old friend of the SDVoE Alliance and somebody I just bumped into on the trade show floor this morning, and I'm glad to have seen him. It's Siya Fakher of Broadtek.
How you doing?
He's the managing director over there. I'm doing great, Siya. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
The reason I wanted to talk to you today is because you've started a, let's call it a movement, and you'll tell us more about that, called AV over IPOE.
Excellent. You didn't slip.
Awesome. There is nothing this industry loves better than an acronym.
And it's a very complicated acronym, but actually if you think about it, it's really straightforward.
I'm the president of the SDVoE Alliance, buddy. You don't have to tell me.
So yeah, I think, I mean, it's hard to figure out SDVoE unless you really know about it.
Yeah.
But AV over, if you understand enough about the technologies, you understand we're taking AV over IP, we're taking PoE and just putting that
So
together.
You admit my acronym is more complicated?
Much more complicated.
All right. Great guess. We're off to a good start.
So yeah, shall I tell you a bit more about it?
So tell us what this is.
Yeah, so the whole concept around this whole thing is how, AV over IP is like everyone understands what AV over IP. But we need to get more mind share about how you design systems, because now the way that you design today is definitely going to be different to the way that you were designing 2 years ago. And part of that is obviously the increase in energy costs. So you've got to think about the cost of ownership and the cost of running a system. Unfortunately, for a lot of your vendors and your technology, you're very early adopters to, PoE and the use of transceivers. Again, reducing, that kind of sustainability model, reducing, the time it takes to set up a system, the energy usage of that system, and the overall cost of that system because of the time savings that you have because of the energy usage and less time you have to spend on site.
Okay.
So that was the idea, and the idea is as well is talking about that as a networked AV overall thing, not specifically to any codec, but generally for networked AV. Because I believe, and I think a lot of people are coming towards this thinking that the application decides what solution that you're putting.
Sure.
So for some applications, H.264, H.265 will be just fine. They don't mind with the extra latency and the not perfect image quality. Some others, 1 gig is also fine. But for particular applications, SDVoE is a must, especially when we're talking about latency and image quality. And then when we're talking about even applications with either more bandwidth is required, that's fine, because what we're talking about is networked AV is moving data packets around. So really, right, the codecs doesn't matter, because you can sit all of those codecs onto the same network, and we
Sure.
demonstrate that in what we're doing. And our roadshow is about creating integrated systems, like an application, and we might create like a meeting room scenario, a lecture theatre scenario, a production studio scenario, with everything designed with AV over IPOE in the design phase. So why would you do that? Well, you do that because for the end user, ultimately, it's much more beneficial. They're saving money, they're saving time, they're saving energy. That's really important. So and that was the idea behind it. And we're also trying to get everyone to collaborate together, because when you're talking about any part, like a particular manufacturer might be doing the signal distribution, another manufacturer might be doing the display side, another manufacturer might be doing structured cabling.
Sure.
But whenever I'm talking to my clients, I'm always talking about the end-to-end, the overall solution, not just part of that solution. So if you're an audio manufacturer, usually you're only talking about the audio part of that, never about the entire solution.
Well, I think those parts get very nuts and boltsy very quickly.
Exactly.
Right, and when you're talking to the end customer who's not ultimately an AV person, who's not trying to solve an AV problem, they're trying to solve a business problem. You need to talk at the level of, here's what this system enable you to do, right? And they're not so much interested in, did that audio go over the network or did it go over a wire? They don't care. And
that piece there that you just mentioned, when you're really talking about solving problems, And that's the way that we wanted to, demonstrate, and the communication that we wanted to use. We didn't want to have this roadshow where it was just black boxes on a table.
Yeah.
And imagine this is multi-view and this is what you can do. I don't want to use my imagination. I want to see this thing function. I want to see this thing work and see if it does what you say it does. And so what we've done is we've created that. We've created exactly that so that you can create these scenarios working with integrated solutions with these vendors that are collaborating with one another, complementary vendors. And we're able to then demonstrate that. Obviously, it's a hybrid event, so we're broadcasting that live, especially on LinkedIn. But also now we'll do more kind of platforms to get it out there. But yeah, that's the concept of what we're trying to do.
Okay, and you have some of those roadshows coming up this year?
That's right. So we've got 5 roadshows this year. The first one being the Frankfurt Light and Sound, Pro Light and Sound. And that's part of, we've got a really great stage, like we've got a massive 56 square meter place there that we're working with right at the entrance. So we're part of the Creative Zone. Thanks a lot to the guys that are Sample Music Festival. They really helped us integrate their solution. And what they're coming with is the creative element. So then they're able to get these artists, that music artists and DJs that are utilizing the audio and video side. Mm-hmm. And we're able to integrate that into these systems. So by creating these real world examples, people can see this in use. And that's the space that we've got for that. But we've also got the roadshow coming in Amsterdam. We've got 3 events in the UK, and at the moment we're negotiating a couple of other shows to happen this year.
And I'm going to ask you where people can learn more in a minute. But before we do that, I want to drag way back to something that you talked about at the beginning, which is sustainability and how that plays into AV over IP. Now, I hope everyone knows that SDVoE is sustainable, flexible, and available. I'll be honest, you gave me some ideas about sustainability that we hadn't really thought to talk about. Of course, we have an ASIC, so we have very low power consumption, just in general, 15 or 20 watts lower than some other products. But you talked about transceivers as a way to be sustainable.
That's right.
I get that. As soon as you said it, now I have 1 box instead of 2. You can encode or decode, or both, and that's going to save some power. How does PoE fit in as a sustainability piece of the pie?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a natural fit because especially a lot of your vendors, most of their products are PoE enabled. So obviously with those being PoE enabled, what you don't need is this, all the extra power sockets. So let's say it's a facility-wide application that you're putting out there. You don't need the electricity side. So if it's a new build, you don't need those extra sockets.
Yep.
That's saving you money. You don't need that extra cabling. That's saving you money. You also don't need the electrician and then the building inspector to check for that electrician's work.
Yep.
So a normal system integrator can run CAT cables.
Yep.
So you're running all of this on the CAT cables that you're running your system on. So the power, the data, the audio and the video are all running through the cables. Okay. And that's the sustainable model. The ultimate thing is, we're saving lots of time, saving lots of money and saving lots of energy doing that. But beyond that, there are individual vendors that are taking a lot of responsibility, and serious responsibility about for example, sourcing their products and where they go between distribution point and the final destination, their packaging. They're really looking at a lot, holistically about the sustainability. And I think credit to them. They're doing some really, powerful stuff.
Yeah, and I think what's important is, what I've noticed is there are some people for whom the sustainability story really resonates. They want to help take care of the planet. They want to do their part. There are others that aren't that concerned with that part. Okay, fine, whatever they want to think. However, these sustainable practices ultimately save money. We're going to reduce power consumption. We're going to reduce the time to install and failure rates and things like that. So it speaks to everyone's bottom line to get on.
And there's so many benefits of it. You mentioned again just the whole aspect of being able to remotely tap into a system, and there's so many benefits to this. But what we really need to do collectively is just have more mind share, and that mind share is through getting that knowledge out to people. Sharing that knowledge, give confidence to system integrators, to end users, where we're working together at a higher level, exchanging APIs and working on things. Really, it's something, I suppose we're touching on, only the marketing aspect and the communication aspect of it, but our aspirations through what we're doing is, I want to be able to create a scenario where we can take this to a point of sale and have these integrated solutions where you know all of these products work well together, you know they're all plug and play, and then you can get this at one place. So you don't have to go to these other distributors. I've got to go to that distributor to get that piece and that distributor to that piece. So, you know, that's one area. And I also want to address something that's really important, is that the importance of younger people in AV in general. And how do we do that? And I'm looking at IT and I'm thinking, you know what, I know a lot of people in IT that find IT after a few years pretty boring, because they find data centers quite boring. They find, you know, like, you know, a lot of the facilities that they're working in and the work that they're doing, not that challenging. Whereas there are so many angles to Pro AV, whether that's broadcast, whether that's education, corporate, there's so many angles to that. And having that understanding of networking is vital to this. And I want to be able to tap into that and have that as a career choice for a lot of guys in IT, guys and girls in IT, to come into this, and that we can then hopefully, you know, get more younger people, get people more diverse people involved in the kind of application and in the structures within Pro AV.
That's a great idea. We need to start an IT to AV recruiting roadshow.
Any recruiters out there, come and join us and get me part of it. But no, I'm you know, like I said, my aspiration is ultimately to improve things. Whatever we do, I just want to improve things within Pro AV, because this is the industry I love. You know, I've been part of coming from the audio side, part of this industry for a very, very long time. I've spent my life, whether that's in audio and music industry or video, you know, I've dedicated a lot of time and effort into this thing, and I think that there's a lot of value to be taken from it, and I hope to be able to attract some of those people and show them that value. That's awesome. Well, Siya, thanks for joining. Tell us all where we can find out more about Broadtek and about AV over IPOE. Okay, so Broadtek is Broadtek. That can be found on LinkedIn. So make sure you look at Broadtek on LinkedIn. And yeah, that's pretty much the main place you're going to find our story from beginning to end. Everything is documented on there. We're going to also, at the moment, I'm trying to build up my other platforms, but I'm trying to get that platform really right on LinkedIn. That's my main thing. And then later on, YouTube and some of these other platforms are going to... well, subscribe to our YouTube channel and we'll update you when Broadtek's Instagram page is up. Thank you very much, Justin. Great to see you, Siya. Likewise, take care. Thanks for watching. Thank you.